Folks, hello and welcome to Tavern Chat. I'm your host, Art Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, your main proprietor at the Tenkar's Tavern blog. So, this past Tuesday, we played in Joe the Lawyer's AD&D 2E game by the book with, I don't know, 2 dozen pages of house rules. Don't even ask. But it's a lot of fun. And I am playing, let's say a cleric, I'm playing a gnome priest, specialty priest. And at third level, I was able to finally turn undead. And lo and behold, we have an encounter that requires turning undead. And I haven't worried about this in 2E, well, since the late 90s, I guess. So, and I was always the DM. I was just, my players knew what they were talking about. So I didn't know what I was talking about. I was in the Poconos on Tuesday, so I didn't have my rule books in front of me. And I did some searches and I found some answers on Reddit, but now that I've done more searches, it's even more confusing. So it's an interesting article here on Dragon's Foot, and I'll link all these searches that I did, and I'll put them in the show notes for you so you can find them. So this article, Turning Undead through Editions, BX through 5e, we're only going to concern ourselves with BX through 2e. So in homes, essentially, you don't know how long it lasts. It's not mentioned. Metzner Moldve, the turned undead will remain out of the clerk's vicinity for 1d10 rounds, at which point they'll return if a reaction roll of 2d6 is 8 or higher. In AD&D, for duration, let's see. Here we go. After you decide how many are affected using a d12, these beings will flee the area for 3 to 12 rounds. Could be a d10 plus 2, could be 3d4, they don't specify. The cleric can attempt to turn these undead again if they return. Now, 2E was supposed to clean up a lot of these left out pieces of rules, or hard to find pieces of rules. So, 2E, let's see. Free willed undead will attempt to leave the vicinity of the cleric. If that is not possible, remain at least 10 feet from the cleric. There is no duration as to how long a turn lasts. The cleric can maintain it for as long as he or she is able. Alrighty then. Well, that wasn't the one that I found. So I, stumbling across, found. Oh, that's one. Let's see. And then I hit the stop sharing button. Let's see. Is this the right one? Here we go. So this is the article that I found in a quick search because we don't want to slow things down too much. But it was life and death for the party. So Dragon 206. Dragon 206 is from June of 1994. Wow. All right. So that's going back a bit. That's the 2E era. How long does an undead creature stay away from a party after being turned by a priest? In the original AD&D game, a turned undead creature stayed away for 24 hours minus the minimum score needed to turn. But that's not what we're getting in the prior. So a 6th level priest would turn away a ghast. This is from Sage Advice. Turn away a ghast for 14 hours. The formula works in the current game, meaning 2E, as well. Now, they also quote Chicago Wisdom here. DMG 1E has these two mentions. Evil clerics, anything below a result of T indicates the undead are compelled to do some service. Treat this the same way as an invisible stalker serving magic users. The length of service so compelled is equal to 24 hours minus the minimum score the cleric needed to compel such service. DMG 1E, page 65. In discussion of turning undead. And good clerics cause the creature to move directly away from his or her person and stay away as far away as possible for not less than 3 or more than 12 rounds, moving at full speed for the duration if at all possible. That's DMG 1E, page 75 on the footnote to the Turning Undead table. Now, Dragon 237, which is going to be approximately 2.5 years later, Sage Advice addresses evil clerics turning paladins. Technically, once a turning attempt succeeds, the affected creature stays away indefinitely, provided the priest who turned the creature maintains his turning effort. That is, the priest may make additional turning actions, but no further rolls. He simply turns the creature automatically. Undead under an evil priest's control remain controlled until destroyed or turned by another priest. If that's too general for you, I suggest the following numbers. And the paladins remain turned for 3d4 melee rounds. Might be turned again. Undead that have been turned or befriended remain that way for 24 hours, minus the minimum score. So, as they say here, it implies that turning control of an evil priest is permanent, and then suggests an alternative more in line to what was in the earlier sage advice. So yeah, it's a bit of a mess, certainly. So we have some rules quotes, again, from Reddit. This is about a year ago. And it's like, well, turning undead is never fully explained. 1E, good clerics cause a creature to move directly away from a person and stay as far away as possible for not less than 3 nor more than 12 rounds. Okay, I'm not going to go to evil clerics. With the 1E dragon answer, what happens when a cornered, as in a deep pit, undead creature is turned? The act of turning undead by a good cleric compels the victim to turn away from the cleric and move as fast as they can for 3 to 12 rounds. When it is physically impossible for the creature to keep moving away, it will retreat to the most remote from the cleric location in the area and continue to face away from the cleric and his or her holy symbol. Okay. 2E. Turned undead bound by the orders of another, simply retreat and allow the character and those with him to pass or complete their actions. Free-willed undead attempt to flee the area of the turning character until out of sight. If unable to escape, they circle at a distance, no closer than 10 feet from the character, provided he continues to maintain his turning. No further rolls required. If the character forces the free-willed undead to come closer than 10 feet, by pressing them into a corner, the turning is broken and the undead attack normally. Wow. All right. But then the 2E Complete Paladin's Handbook states, once turned, the undead may hiss or claw the air, but will take no direct action against the paladin, even if the paladin turns away. Should he move within 10 feet of the undead, the paladin violates the turning, and the undead attacks normally. But there's an answer. They don't say for which issue of the dragon. How long does an undead creature stay away from the party? This is probably from the first one we're looking at. In the original game, undead creature stayed away for 24 hours minus the minimum score needed. So 180 defines a duration for turn undead, and 180 is pretty much clear that turning is a one and done. 2E mentions the turning without a die roll, but never seems to return to this or explain it. 1E says you can corner a turned undead and nothing will happen, but 2E says if you corner them, you will break the turning. Well, and of course, there's nowhere is there a restriction on attacking turned undead. Okay, so we in our group are probably going to need, we play every other week. Before our next session, we're probably going to need to make a ruling. And these house rules are going to increase in size because there is no clear answer. There are many parts of answers. And that is part of the joy of playing old school games, right? That is part of the challenge, part of the ups and downs is, this contradicts this. All right, well, you make the best answer, and then maybe after the session, you guys and gals get together and come to a better conclusion. So I'd like to know what you all do for turning undead and the duration. And we're not even talking the clones yet, right? I'm gonna have to start digging into that. So, on that note, I'll be back again tomorrow with another video. What's our Christmas is coming up? I'll be doing a video on that. Other than that, be safe, be well. God bless. Roll those dice, roll them well. I will catch you all tomorrow.